Hey everybody, Joy here. It's Thursday. It's Thursday already. November 5, 2020. And I just am going to show you today how to do my last purple sleeve. Remember the other day I had on the purple top and only had one sleeve, and some of you said show us how to do it, so I'm going to do that. One of you asked me a few videos ago to show you my cups and tell you where I get them. So I have a brand new one. Isn't it darling? That's a Becky word, darling. I'll tell you who's darling's her husband Keith. Alrighty, it has cardinals. So where do I get my cups? When I go somewhere, which isn't very often anymore, I always go to the mug department, the cup department, because I like pretty cups. Now usually it's the Pioneer Woman aisle at Walmart. Let me take a sip of my brand new cuppa. Just regular old boring decaf. Usually it's the Pioneer Woman aisle at Walmart because I love her patterns, her prints, her designs. They're always florals, and so I love florals. But the other day, Jerry and I went shopping. We always go shopping in Sherman because that's where Sam's is. That's 45 miles away from here. And so when we do, we always go someplace to lunch because they have like all the restaurants there that, you know, we don't have anything here except the Country Kitchen and Sonic. So anyway, I said I haven't been to Cracker Barrel for years and years and years. It was about 11:30 in the morning. I said, let's go there and have one of those big breakfasts that they have. So we went to Cracker Barrel. You know, it's the one with all the rocking chairs out front. So I went and I noticed a lot of people sitting on the rocking chairs, and I thought, well, this is not Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything. Where are all these people out here? So we went inside, and there was a lady standing there, you know, holding her pad. And what's your name? And I said, oh my goodness, how long's the wait? She said 20 to 25 minutes. Well, it was more like an hour. But what was going on was they could only use every other table in the restaurant. So half the tables were empty. I'll be so glad when that is over with. So while we were waiting, you know, Cracker Barrel has that big gift shop, you know, before you go into the restaurant. And so they actually had some employees working there. And one of them, a man, went up to Jerry and asked him if he could help him. And this pretty young girl came up to me and asked if she could help me. She said, is there anything I can help you find? I said, well, I'm looking for a mug. I said, nothing in particular. I just like pretty mugs. And she said, well, what do you like on them? And I said, well, it's winter. I like cardinals. She said, well, all the mugs are over there by where the entrance to the restaurant is. But she said there's a few of them over here. So I went over to the entrance where the restaurant was, and they were all those kind of, oh, they were just icky mugs. It had sports names on them or state names on them, you know, not pretty. And so then I went over to the other place where she said they had some, and there were actually sets, boxes of sets of dishes there. And this cup was sitting all by itself on top of the fixture. And I went, oh my God, that's got cardinals. That's really cute. And I thought, I wonder if they have another one, because I want one, I want two of them. And so I looked around, and then I noticed the big boxes of, you know, 4 plates, 4 bowls, 4 cups, 4 saucers down at the bottom. And this was one of the patterns in them. So for some reason, I don't know if a set of dishes broke or somebody returned some or what, but this, I can feel that the tag is still on the bottom of it. They had this marked $6.99, and it was all by itself. So I was able to buy it without buying the whole set of dishes. Okay? So that's where this one came from, Cracker Barrel. But most of the other ones that you see me hold up that have the pretty flowers, most of those are Pioneer Woman. Okay, so let's get off that and get onto the sleeve. Look what I found that I'm going to use for a coaster. I made that many years ago when I was young and skinny. And I thought I was going to start quilting back then, so I joined this quilt guild. And they said that you had to have a name badge when you came in there. They wanted you to wear a name. And so I made this to be my name badge. Dear Lord, it's big enough to be a placemat. I don't know why I made it so darn big. But anyway, I was going to wear this as a name badge. So I decided, since I'm not going to wear it as a name badge, I'm going to take the pin out here on the back. Oh my gosh, I've got the pin sewn on. Well, I don't know. I need to get the pin off of here somehow. Well, we'll do that later, alligator. Okay, but right now we're going to use it for a coaster. And then everybody will know this is Joy Bernhardt's coffee. You know, a lot of people come here every day and they would wonder that. All right, I'm going to show you how to do the sleeve with the notch that you can turn up. Okay? I've got the other purple sleeve here ready to go. I actually threw it in the trash, you know, the good trash, not the garbage trash. And I dug it out because I was just going to cut that up for quilt fabric because of the, it's not only got all those chalk marks, it's got a couple pulls, but I can color in the pulls with a Sharpie. And if all the rest of it will come out in the wash, then you all liked it so much, I guess I'll try to wear it. I don't like the bust dart, but I don't know. It's pretty anyway, isn't it? So, I'm going to show you how I took the sleeve and what I did to it. Remember, blouse number 1 had the short sleeve. It was supposed to be a cap, and actually it was just the top of this pattern is what it was. See, it says cut here for BB. And so I cut that off, and I could have wrapped it around my arm twice. So I simply sliced it here and crossed it over. And I took all of that out of it. But when I decided to use the whole sleeve, I had to paste it back together. Okay, so I put it back the way it originally was. So I've got the whole sleeve pattern here now. I actually have cut it down here for view C, because there's another view that comes all the way down long sleeve and has a cuff on it. But I'm not doing that. That's one thing I do not like, is fabric around my wrist. I would so have my dinner all the way up to here if I had sleeves that long. I don't know how people stand those great big bell sleeves that hang down. I don't know how they eat. All right, let me put this away. All right, this is so simple. Let me set the camera up so I can show you the table instead of my face. All right, you're going to be surprised how simple this is. It is so simple. Okay, so I have it cut off for view C, which was the 3/4 length. I'm not putting the cuff on it. Now, 3/4 for me is probably not 3/4 for anybody else. So I measure. 3/4 actually would be like if you took your elbow and you folded it in half over to your wrist. That would be 3/4. I don't like my sleeves down there. I like mine like up here. So, you know, just put the pattern up to yourself and figure out where you want it and add a seam allowance to it. Okay? So that's where I want it. But then I decided that version number 2 was just the straight sleeve like this pattern is, and there was no notch or no fold up or anything. So I decided on the purple one, I wanted the notch. So I'm going to show you how you do it. It's so easy to do if you know. All it is a facing. And all the facing is a copy of what you're going to face. If I was going to face my hand, I would trace another hand. And then you would sew the hand on and then turn it all inside out. Okay, so that's all the facing is the shape of what you want to face. So you get a piece of tracing paper. You line it up with the bottom of the sleeve. Okay? So it's exactly straight here and straight here. Now the purple one ended right here. The purple one was 1 3/4 inches with the seam allowance, and I put a 1/2 inch seam allowance on it. I decided that I wanted it to be up higher for the purple one because I didn't want any of this to show when I turned it up. I didn't plan on turning it up when I first drew it, but now I know I want to turn it up, so I just raised this up higher. So now I have drawn that at 4 inches, okay? I mean, all I did was slap down a ruler and draw a line at 4 inches. You don't have to have a hem extension when you do this, because this is just going to sew straight on and flip. You're not going to be turning up. You're not going to be turning the hem up like this, so you don't need the hem extension on the side. So you put your tracing paper down, you decide how far up you want it to be, you draw a line on your tracing paper. And of course you're going to have weights holding everything down, right? Then I just took my ruler and I drew a 1/2 inch dashed line down here at the bottom. And then I put on here 1/2 inch. I didn't need a 5/8 inch seam allowance there, but you want to make sure that you make a note about that or you'll sew a 5/8 inch, okay? Because that's what the rest of the pattern is. Then I just drew this notch and I just guessed at how high to make the notch. And I made the notch from the bottom. Let's go from the bottom. From the bottom, I marked the point of the notch 2 1/4 inches. Is that right? Measure twice, cut once. 2 1/4 inches up here to the top dot of this notch, which is right there. I made a dot right there. Oh, and first of all, you have to fold the sleeve in half. You have to know where center is, okay? So you fold the sleeve in half, mark center. Forgot to tell you that part, okay? And so then you're gonna draw this paper on top of it. So I put a little dot right there at 2 1/4. Then I just drew a V, an upside down V, a TP. I just drew an upside down V. Mine just happens to be at the very, very bottom. It's 1 inch. Here at the very bottom is 1 inch. From here to here is 1 inch. Let me see if I can make that so you can see it. 1 inch. Does that make sense? See the 3 dots? So, you're going to cut out 2 sleeves and you're going to cut out 2 of these. This is a sleeve facing now. So you're going to cut out 2 of these and 2 of these. Also, very, 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 very important. You will get it on the wrong sleeve if you don't mark this. Now this is the same on both sides, but not all sleeves are. So I also made a notch right there, a single notch, and over here I made a double notch. See there? Double notch, single notch. That way you know that you're sewing it to the right sleeve because you're going to have 2 of them and they're opposite of each other. And these will be 2 opposite of each other, okay? And so then you can line it up on your sleeve, okay? So I hope that makes sense. You have your sleeve and you have your facing. It's really easy. Really easy. It's actually easier to do than putting a hem at the bottom of the sleeve. All right, so here's my sleeve. I've already got sleeve 1 done. This is sleeve 2. You will see down here, I have the single notch on one side. I have a double notch on the other side. We're going to put right sides together. Now I have finished the top of it. I've serged the top of this. This is going to be tucked up inside, and I just serged that edge. So we're going to put this here and this here, and we're going to make sure we've got 2 single notches on this side, and we do. 2 single notches. And we're going to make sure we have 2 double notches on this side, and we do. So we know we're putting the right facing on the right sleeve. I don't mean right and left, I mean proper right. Well, the English language has more words that mean more than one thing, doesn't it? All right. So, we've got that pinned on each side, matching the notches. Now we're going to pin it on the bottom. We're going to pin it on the bottom, and we're going to remember, you can see I've drawn the little V, and I didn't do that for you, I do that for me. That's so I know where to sew that. If I don't mark it on there, I'm not going to know where to put it. Okay, now I know I've got a 1/2 inch seam down here. We can take little bites. Little bites. So now, I am going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to go to the sewing machine. Let's get this where you can see it. It's always hard to do that. see if that works. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew. Let me see, what am I going to do? I'm not going to sew the sides yet. I changed the way I did this the other day and it's a really good way. I'm not going to sew the sides yet. Okay? I've got them pinned together, but I'm not going to sew them yet. I'm going to start over here at a 1/2 inch and I'm going to sew, 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 sew. I'm going to get here and I'm going to turn the thread length down to a tiny stitch and I'm going to go sew, 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 sew up here at the point, turn, go 1 stitch the other direction and sew, 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 sew down here to this dot. Then I'm going to turn and I'm going to put it back on my regular 2.5 stitch and I'm going to sew, 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 sew. Okay? I'm going to go do that and then I'm going to bring this back and show it to you. Not hot anymore. All right. I have sewn it. You can see here on the back how I sewed it. Just like I told you I was going to. So it's still open here on the sides because after I get that trimmed, we are going to put the 2 sides together and we're going to sew the whole side, we're going to sew this whole seam together. Okay? But first, I'm going to trim this, and I'll show you how I do that. Let me get a cutter. You always trim everything down, right? So I'm going to trim it to a 1/4 inch. The ice just fell. All right, so I've cut a 1/4 inch off of that long seam. Oh, now let me tell you a tip. When you're sewing this, be sure you use an open toe foot that you can see the needle and where it's going. Otherwise, you'll never know when you hit this point. Use a clear foot or an open toe foot, or you won't be able to see where you need to stop and where you need to turn. All right, so now I'm going to cut up into this V. And sometimes I do a really good job and sometimes I don't do a very good job. Oops, and there I just went a little bit too close. I do that a lot. Okay, so you can see I've trimmed it like that. I got really, really close right here. But that's all right. It's going to be turned inside and it'll stay. Let me show you on this side. See, I've just cut this V out of there. All right. Stand up, Joy. Stand up, stand up. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out. Then this part is very, 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 very important or it will not turn. My camera's going like this. I'm crooked, but I'm not that crooked. Okay, let me hold this up real close. See that V right there? I'm going to cut right up almost to the end of that V. Look at that. That is close. That is really close. I might need to cut even a hair more. You have got to get up in there. Do not cut through your sewing. And that's why you can see that I went to really, really tiny stitches doing this V right here. Okay? Now I'm going to press it. I'm going to press it and then I'm going to do the Peggy Sager's fold. And I'm going to fold this like this and I'm going to fold this like this and I'm going to hold on to it and I'm going to turn it. I do not, never, ever, ever clip these corners. If you cut this corner off like that, you're going to end up with a hollow in here. You want that filled in. So fold it to this side because then you can catch it. Let me try again. I don't know what the camera can see because I'm looking at the material. I hope you can see. I'm going to fold it like that. And then I'm going to fold it like that on the purple seam. And then I'm going to take my finger up here. It's better, put your finger in first, okay? Sorry guys, I'm tripping over the can. Put your finger in first, where you can stick it here on the short side. Fold and fold and hold. Fold and fold and hold. And turn. And put that point up into that corner. Now, if it comes out, did you see me do that? Let me do it again. Let me do it twice in case the camera didn't catch it. You're gonna put your hand up in there first. It helps if you had longer fingernails. My fingernails have been breaking off like crazy in this cold weather. You're gonna fold that, and you're gonna fold this, and you're gonna hold it. I don't know if I got it that time either. So both corners, see there that tight corner? See how tight that corner is right there? We're going to turn it into itself. Poke it up in there. And most times it comes out perfect to start with. Now see, now I lost it again. Sorry guys, I keep dropping it. Most times it comes out perfect to start with, but if it doesn't, don't be sticking anything up inside there. Get a pin. Get a pin and pull the corner out. Pull the corner out. Pull the corner out. There you go. See? So that's one side of the triangle turned. And of course it works better if you press it first, and I haven't pressed it yet, but I just wanted to show you. Do not cut your corners, and they will look so much nicer. That's a Peggy Sagers I learned years and years ago, and she's absolutely right. So I'm going to go iron it and turn it, and then I'll be back. All right, let me do this from here, and maybe I'll actually get the shot right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put my hand up in here. My finger is in the corner. My finger right here is in that corner. I am going to fold it toward me, both edges of that point. I'm folding toward me. Now I am going to turn it up into itself. And again, and again, and again. I need to write a song. Again, I will pull that point out. Be careful. Now don't be pulling too hard or you'll tear it. Okay? Look at that. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. Let's do the next one. You know, I have to do things perfect or they drive me crazy. Now this is really cut close there. But it's really tiny stitches. And it's going to be up inside. I have done that on every one. It seems like I get one side really close. All right, so I'm folding. This is so tiny, man, I can't even turn it. Turn, Laverne. Now again, because it's so tiny and I can't get my big fat thumb up in there, if I had more to deal with, I could get the whole thing in there. If I had more fabric inside that little point. There it is. So there's my 2 points. This one's still a little bit rounded on this side. If you're sewing, I know you guys think I sew really fast, but I really don't. I take my time and I make sure. And if this was wrong, I'd cut it out and start over. All right, so there it is. It needs to be pressed. It needs a final press. Let me go finally press it. Okay, I have ironed it. It is pressed. Now you can see why I made the next one wider. Because I didn't realize, I thought I was just going to leave this down like this. I didn't think I was going to turn it. Now here's another tip you need to know. Make the side that's going to show hide the seam allowance. Okay? So you would think that this is the side that's going to show. If you're not going to turn the cuff up, it is the side that's going to show. But since I'm turning it up from the inside out, I'm turning it up like this. I'm turning it up like that. Since I'm turning it up like that, I want this edge to be the one that doesn't show the seam allowance, because that's the side I'm turning up, okay? So I have pulled the seam allowance to this side. Maybe you can see it if I hold it really close. It looks blue in the camera, but this is as purple as it can be. All right? Now, if you get a bubble, if you get a facetally or a bubble or a bump right there, sadly, that means that you need to cut up even closer to that point. But I'm not going to do it. I mean, it's so close now. I am going to come inside and I'm going to put a dot of fray check right there. All right, now that we've got the point made, we've got to finish the sleeve. Now this is already hemmed on the inside because and I didn't do this on that shirt. Did I do it on that shirt? All right, the way I did it on the other sleeve is I sewed this into a circle and I sewed the sleeve together into a circle. Okay, and so then I sewed the point in a circle on the open arm of the machine. So I decided on the next one that the way I'm showing you how to do it now makes more sense and it finishes nicer. And then you just sew a top stitch around it. See, I'm going to put the sides together. Now we've got 5/8 inch over here. Now you can always make a 5/8 inch seam at the bottom of this so you don't have to remember it's different from the rest of the blouse. See, here's my 2 notches. My 1 notch. Don't need those anymore. So we're going to fold it up here. I might have to get some of my heart music for this video. Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to sew it right down this seam. And then I'll be back. Alright, I've sewn this seam 5/8 inch and I've serged it off. So now, I'm just going to fold this up. Now remember, I always press my sleeve seams toward the front. Toward the front. I'm going to go do that real quick. Hold on. Press the sleeve seam toward the front. How do you know what the front is? You know the front by the single notch and the double notch. The double notch means I'm the back. The single notch means I'm the front. In every single pattern I've ever sewn. So, why to the front? Because I always put the side seam of the blouse toward the back to get away from the bust dart. My bust darts are as big as Texas, I showed you the other day. So I always press the side seams to the back, and so then you want your sleeve to the front so they butt up to each other. Alrighty, so let's turn this baby inside out. Well, how are you going to keep that in there, Joy? I am going to top stitch it. I'm going to top stitch it. All right. So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go put this on the arm, the free arm of the machine, and I'm going to sew around. I'm going to measure up to see where to put my foot to sew it, how far I need to go, and then I'm going to sew around to hold that facing in there forevermore. And then this is going to fold up over it. And so you'll never see that top stitching. Alright? So see there? See there? Isn't that cute? I know you think it's cute. You asked me to show you how to do it. So that's how you do it. So here I am in muslin number 4. Muslin number 4. I'm going to town with Jerry. He's got some prescriptions to pick up. And we're supposed to go to lunch, but the propane man decided to show up at 12:30 today, so we can't go anywhere till after he's done. So, number 4. I don't know if I look terrible in it or good in it. I haven't even been out to the mirror. But it's completely done. Now the buttons are brown. I think they tend to look black, but they aren't. They're brown. And they're really cute. And I had 7 of them, so I was really happy to find them in my stash. So, I have no issues with the collar, no issues with the sleeves, no issues with the length. I'm liking it, except that it's brown. But I got brown pants, so I figure I look okay. The top I had on earlier that you saw me in is brown too, but it's got a lot of cream in it. So, and no, I can't tell you what pattern that is because I can't remember. I just found these two pictures. I thought I'd show them to you. These are all of the embroidery earrings I made, and I just think they are so cute. Look at that one. That's embroidered with a diamond. Remember, my little granddaughter Lindy always called sparkles diamonds. I love that one. Just love it. And then here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 others I made. And yes, I'm still going to mail the leaves to the lady that I said could have the leaves. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I have to get them done right now because we are going to town where there's a post office. I think I'll do that. So, fun, 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 fun. So, that has nothing to do with this. We're still working on butter ink. Butter ink. I think it's 5924. I ought to know by now. I've made 4 of them. There's only one missing, and it's the one that has the short sleeve. And it's kind of these colors. It's got the big flowers on it, remember? And it has a short sleeve, and I showed it to you with a t-shirt under it the other day, and I love it. I like it very much. So tell me what you think of me in this brown color. I gave myself a haircut this morning and lowered my ears. If I look different, that's why. In fact, my husband actually came up to me this morning just out of the blue, and he said, "Wow, you look really nice today." And I said, "What? Let me go look in the mirror." He hardly ever says that these days. See, this one compared to the one I have on, I mean, look at the difference. See, there's a lot of light in this. So, but he just loves this top. So, I should wear it every day, right? Lucy, I guess I told you, she's got on version number 3 and version number 2. I really like the pockets. But since Lucy doesn't have any arms, I'll have to put my hand in it for you. But I didn't put pockets in this one. I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. I'm like, let's get on to the next project. What is the next project? I have to finish folding up my new fabric, and I have to finish cleaning up this room. Because there's somebody that I want to come here, and I have got to get off of sewing and on to quilting. So, I don't know. Every day I wake up, it's a whole different world. I was really down yesterday, as I'm sure a lot of you were too. So today we're having all quiet and no news. No news, just quiet and my pretty music. So I can stay up where I like to be. Okay, my dear friends, propane man should be here. So hopefully it doesn't take forever to fill up that propane tank. It is one ugly looking thing, I tell you. Jerry came up yesterday and said, come see the propane tank. I don't even want to show you. It's so horrible looking. I thought it was going to be one of those long bullet-shaped things, you know, that you can like wheel around. It's not. It still looks like a water heater, only it's this fat and this tall, and it's right next to our patio. Jerry said, well, I could paint it black. And I said, it's just horrible. I'm never going to the patio again. He said, well, I could paint it black. And then he came in and he said, I don't think it will look good black. How about I plant a bush in front of it? I said, how about you put a fence around it? How about you paint a floral scene on it? You know, years ago, Jerry and I, when we first got married, he and his first wife had bought a home in Norman, Oklahoma. Well, she left him, and she moved to a different town, and so he kept the house, paid her half the equity in it, and he kept the house. So when we got married, we moved into that house. And so in that town, at that time, somebody was painting all the fire hydrants. And they were so darn cute. One might look like a fireman, one might look like a policeman. Everyone looked different. They looked like little people. They were so cute. So I'm thinking, maybe we could paint that hideous propane tank out there. I don't know, make it look like a cactus or something. I don't know. Give me some ideas, all right? I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go to lunch with Jerry. I'm sure I'll be back soon, though. Bye for now.